Here's everything I made and packed for my lunch. I started off by pan frying up some brisket from the Korean store. I then steamed some broccoli and I seasoned it with soy sauce, sesame oil, Korean red pepper flakes, and salt and pepper. And that's all the cooking I had to do, so I started packing my lunch. I packed my broccoli separately and then I cut up some kimchi. And my mom buys this kimchi from this grandma who runs a restaurant. It's so good. Packing up my main part of my lunch, I started with some white rice and added the brisket. We always have rice on hand. And this is one of my super easy but really healthy lunches I make. Here's everything I made and packed for my lunch. I started off by cutting up my peppers and my onions to season them and let that sit for about 10 minutes while I prepare my steak. All I put on my veggies was some olive oil and this voodoo seasoning from Meat Church. To prep my steak, I started off by cutting into cubes and seasoning with salt and pepper. I then put my steak and peppers and onions onto skewers so I can grill them. To cook my kebabs, I threw them on a grill with the highest temperature possible to get a good sear. And now I have to pack my lunch, so I threw my steak kebabs in my glass Tupperware with my peppers and onions, and I always dip this stuff in Peter Luger steak sauce. It's so good. I had leftover rice on hand, so I didn't have to cook that, and that is my lunch for tomorrow. Here's everything I made and packed for my lunch. I started off by prepping the fajita veggies by cutting up some peppers and onions. I threw all those in a pan and seasoned them with salt, pepper, cumin, dark chili powder, and some garlic powder. Next, I heated up my pulled pork and I seasoned it with the exact same seasonings I used for my peppers and onions. I then assembled my quesadilla, cheese, meat, peppers and onions, and more cheese because the cheese is kind of like the glue that holds it all together, and this thing is thick and needs it. To pack this up, I always put a paper towel down first because it's going to absorb all the juices and keep your tortillas from getting soggy. I also packed up a side of salsa to eat with my quesadilla tomorrow, and that's lunch.